Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talk Junkies.
The last Talk Junkies.
Tonight's going to be a very interesting night, as it is each and every single
finale
week at Talk Junkies. I was hoping to have a guest on tonight and a guest on last week. Just things don't play out the way that they're supposed to each and every single week. But we're all here. I'm very blessed again that this is a thing. Got Carl in the house. What's up, Carl?
What's up? What's up?
Jay West. What up, man?
You know what it is.
And Johnny.
Hi.
Here we are doing our thing. Tonight, there's just a few subjects that I want to talk about. And I know it's probably prevalent and everyone's talking about these subjects. But this first topic that we can get into, and then the third topic can kind of roll back into the intro of the podcast. And I'll just leave that for last. But it's just kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on Elon Musk trying to buy Twitter. And just, I'm not, just thoughts, yeah. Thoughts, go for it. What's up?
I mean,
it's a power move, yeah?
He says he wants, the reasoning that he gives, supposedly,
censorship,
is to get rid of the censorship.
Right.
That all free speech, bring it back to a free platform and all this. But he's also the same person who, like, banned people like crazy from his Twitter because he didn't like what they said and tried to get people, like, canceled and stuff. And man, I used to like Elon Musk, and then I look more into it. Elon, man, he's just another.
But couldn't, but and I'm not trying to defend it, but couldn't he have been doing those things because that's what was happening to other people? Like, if you see other people getting censored for some bullshit, and then they're starting to do that shit on his page and say shit, and he's just like, hey, well, if they're getting banned, you can get banned.
Elon Musk buying Twitter makes absolutely no. It doesn't. It's not on my radar because I'll never use Twitter.
Yeah, I don't use it.
So it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
I don't get my news from Twitter. I don't use Twitter. So it affects me.
I think the big thing for him, which is what he did wrong with, as far as not even talking about like that, him being able to have like some control of Twitter, was the timing in which he did it. Because he was supposed to announce it before he bought stock into it. Because right when he bought stock into it, and then he had already had the stock and then announced it, the stock fucking
skyrocketed,
doubled or whatever. So he made, and they were like, "This is illegal for this reason. Somebody of your level needs to go. It needs to be pre-announced." Hey,
he's the major shareholder, or he's the majority.
That
shareholder.
That way, then everybody goes, "Oh shit, Elon's about to buy." So now everybody else starts buying, and then the stock price goes up, and then it becomes more expensive for him to fucking buy it. But he went through, like, I think he technically did some illegal shit. Like, and
it's not. That's the thing, is it's not really more expensive for him to buy it if he already owns the biggest portion of shares, because he's getting that money back.
Well, no. The whole thing is that he bought it and then announced that he had bought it, and then all this as to where.
So I'm saying, so he buys the shares.
He pumped the stock.
The shares go up,
yeah,
including the shares that he bought.
But because of what he said,
and now he says he's going to buy Twitter. The shares go up more. Once again, the shares that he already owns.
But that didn't happen. It just came out of nowhere. He owns 9% of Twitter now.
I thought it was 9.
He was like, hey, he owns 9% of Twitter. He was supposed to announce it before he actually made the purchase, but he had already made the purchase and he bought it at that level. And then the wave comes in.
It's kind of like Doge, whenever
he hasn't bought Twitter yet, though.
Well, they won't let him.
No, he hasn't bought Twitter.
Oh, so he hasn't even.
Well, they won't take his offer. They won't accept his offer.
They had the initial he had the initial
I didn't know. I thought it went through.
No,
3 to 5%, and then. But
that's where you were throwing me off. I was like,
no, I thought he had already bought it.
No, it was the people on the board, and come to find out, there's the Saudi Arabian. There's a Saudi Arabian prince who's on the board of Twitter, and whatever that means. He's saying no, he doesn't want Elon Musk to do it. Blah blah blah. And who knows why? But Elon was trying to offer $10 more per share.
You can't figure that one out?
No, I know, right? They can.
Wait. You can't connect the dots. Why a Saudi Arabian prince who made all of his money off oil?
Yeah, no,
selling like gas.
Well,
he wouldn't want Elon Musk to own a massive portion of that company?
Right. Well,
that's pretty straightforward.
I think basically what I'm saying is it's an American company, and just like having
how so?
Just I'm pretty sure Twitter was like invented. I mean,
but what does that matter? Or
I think probably
every major company now is international.
But most its users are probably going to be American. I'm just saying, if you want to sway or if you want to infiltrate some type of social media, Twitter would be a way to have control over, however millions of users that are on there. And you have an outside influence on it, and then he's on the board of directors deciding whether or not it could be sold or not. Well, they're offering $10 more a share, and that's what Elon Musk was saying, is let the shareholders decide, not the Saudi Arabian prince.
Anything like that. When you get money involved and it becomes publicly traded and all that, like Facebook and Twitter and all that, it's no longer it's never going to be free speech. Never. We've had this discussion with Facebook back in the day where you guys are like,
there
should be no. The moment it's publicly traded and there's stockholders invested and stuff like that, it will never be pure.
Right, but so that's what I'm saying is like, is it so wrong for Elon to try and do this and we always talk about, well, what can you do? What can you do? Well, now we finally have a billionaire who's stepping in, trying to defend
He's not going to make. He's not going to do that though.
You never know.
Man,
maybe he is truly a morally good person and he really wants freedom of speech, which he's came out and he said multiple times.
No, he treats his employees all like garbage. Absolute garbage.
Man, Elon Musk has ended up just being a lot of talk, man. You remember him saying that he was going to get the Flint, Michigan water problem like fucking fixed, and he says all this shit, and then fucking he just doesn't do it.
I get that a lot of people think that Elon he's the one billionaire out for the people. No, he's not. He's like every other one. He's not out for the people.
So that it makes me curious. Then what's his move really all about then?
I mean,
money?
I would assume money.
Yeah.
You get your
or create controversy.
No, he's diversifying his portfolio because think about it. Right now, it's all in technology. I guess it's technically tech or automotive. You just
tech, SpaceX, and you got Tesla.
I feel like SpaceX is separated from something else. That's some weird separate thing that he's fucking doing. I don't know how he makes fucking money off that, but
the government gives him money.
Yeah, whatever. That's a weird one separated. But as far as, his shit, like he's diversifying his portfolio. You want to get into social media. That's where a bunch of money's at.
And I mean, it's more than just money. It's money that leads into money because you're buying a platform. It's like buying CNN. Think of what you could do owning CNN. It's not just about money. There's also, it's a news thing. You know what I mean? Like you can feed whatever you want to people when you have control of it.
That's true as well.
Which just leads into more money.
Hey, if you don't pay me or you get a sponsorship from like Pfizer, that's the big one for a bunch of like Fox News and shit like that, is they can't write any negative articles about Pfizer or any of
because they'll lose their sponsorship.
Yeah, and then they lose money. That's why
news is a joke. That's why Twitter's a joke. And Facebook.
Our
and
generation
all of it.
Doesn't fucking watch the news because we know it's just it's a circus is fucking what it is. What's his face who owns like 90% of fucking media? It's like one guy that owns fucking all that fucking shit. I can't even think of his name right now. Yeah, it's like one dude that's in control of the majority of fucking media in the entire world.
It's not George Soros, is it?
No, not George. It's somebody.
I didn't know that. I knew there were like the big six companies.
I said
or
the
whatever.
big six.
No,
like Comcast, Viacom.
You could fucking Google it. There is one guy that has the majority of control of like all media and
like
everything has to
BlackRock does. I mean, whoever's head of BlackRock or just the majority shareholder, you can look that up. But I didn't know it was one guy either. But
it's just another facet of why society's fucked right now.
Yeah, I just didn't really understand just what this move meant. I've heard the conservative side or people in the middle side of what Elon's trying to do, and they think it's for the better. I mean, Joe Rogan had on Duncan Trussell, and they were talking about it. And I mean, Joe believes that Elon's doing it for the greater good. So
I hope that's the case, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
But I'm also a skeptic. So
man, do you guys fucking remember when Mark Zuckerberg was talking about giving away like 99% of his fucking wealth? At the beginning, like all of his statements were like, man, this is so unnecessary for me to have all this money. We're gonna give all of it back. I can literally live off 1% of my income.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah. See, and then they fucking get a taste and you can't, it's literally like money's like so corrupted or so corruptible. Like it's been talked about in biblical shit and all this wisdom and shit like that money's not evil, but it's the root to fucking all evil. To take the
want of money.
Yeah, and it's like once you get it, it's like that fucking shot of fucking H for the first time. You're like, I ain't ever fucking going back.
So let's just
fuck that shit.
Let's transition a little bit and go into that. What's like the story behind God trying to say, or God or Jesus or whatever? What's the point of the 10% offering of your income? No matter how rich or how poor you are.
The tithing or whatever?
Yeah, it's just tithe. It's just, they have to be funded some way.
Yeah.
Sure. But was that in the Bible?
Yeah.
Like where they say, give me money?
Yeah.
Even
honestly,
I don't think that's the word of Jesus. I think that's the word of people who wrote the Bible and wanted money.
Yeah.
So even, I'm pretty sure even like Jesus talks about it. He talks about even taxes, that taxes are a thing. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's. I'm pretty sure that line's up in there somewhere, but it's very biblical to give.
Even
give money.
Jesus said pay taxes.
Yeah,
You've gotta be fucking kidding me.
Jesus said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's
What the fuck is that?
in the Bible.
How do people not read that and see that that is fucking a human being writing that book to control more human beings?
But in all honesty, you have to have taxes to fund.
Taxes aren't evil.
Taxes aren't evil. It's how you literally fund the infrastructure of your civilization.
The problem isn't taxes, especially like in the
hold
U.S.
on,
or whatever.
hold
It's
on,
not
hold on.
taxes. It's what taxes go to fund.
Sure, but
because how would you feel if your taxes?
That's what I'm saying. We're talking about Caesar here.
But I
And
mean,
what was Caesar doing? He was conquering the world, right?
we need to get fucking Mike Anderson on, or
Yeah.
I'm saying taxes in general. The whole point is, I mean, even the whole taxation without representation. Like, I have no problem paying taxes. I have a problem paying taxes for what they go to.
Yeah, we've all hit it up, but just the fact that Jesus was cool with taxes, that blows my mind, man.
Yeah, Jesus was down with the taxes.
That's the title of this YouTube video. Jesus was down with taxes, man.
And I don't know if that goes directly into tithing too, but no, it's supposed to be 10% of your overall income needs to go to the church, is what it says.
To me, that seems like a Ponzi scheme.
And
Like
that's just to pay the church?
Yeah, an everlasting Ponzi scheme.
Man, you've never heard of religion before?
No,
Yeah,
that's
man.
what I'm saying.
No,
I didn't know
this has
Jesus
been-
fronted it.
This was like one of George Carlin's like big jokes. He was like, you talk about the creator of the fucking universe, literally created all fucking life, can heal people, fucking heaven and hell, all this. Can't figure out money though.
Give me your gold.
Can't figure out money for some reason, man. Gotta get your money. It's the one thing. God, man, God's just bad with finance.
God is bad with, yeah.
That was, yeah.
He bet everything he had on black. Never won.
Can't handle finances for some reason. Yeah, no, it's
Well, I think what's interesting to me is like with today's times, you look at it and it's no matter how poor you are, if you go to that church, they ask for 10%, right? And I know churches help out families, whatever, all that shit. I would,
Absolutely.
Salvation Army. I was the beneficiary of that as a young kid. I do, and they do those things, of course. But like I'm saying, people who go to church, frequent it, no matter how much money you make, they just want 10%.
yeah.
No matter how poor you are, or rich you are.
And think about in the climate that we're already like, the government isn't able to pay, people appropriate wages, and oh yeah, you got to tack on, 10%. And it never says in the Bible, by the way, that you go to hell for not paying tithes. By the way, that's never like a sin. You know what I mean? So the Bible, man, it almost sounds like I'm defending fucking Christian religion right now. But it never says in the Bible that if you don't pay a tithe, like you're going to hell or anything like that. But they definitely, that's in there.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
This is a quick question for you, Jesse, just about religion, real quick, because I don't remember all the 10 commandments. If you were to follow to a T all 10 commandments, would you never sin? I know the sins. I know the seven deadly sins or whatever. But I'm saying if I were to follow all 10 commandments, would that, like to the T, would that automatically mean that I wouldn't perpetuate or do one of those sins? This has nothing to do with the rest of the podcast. I'm just...
It's fun.
Well, you're on religion.
That's
yeah.
a really interesting question. Because there's other sins that aren't in the commandments.
Yeah, no, I know.
They're more like guidelines.
It's more the pirate code. It's
They're
less
more
of
like
a code and more like
guidelines.
guidelines.
Because, I'm trying to remember the 10 commandments. That's just about like being a good. I mean, that's got shit about.
I was just don't go. Yeah, I was just curious.
I really don't know. I don't know.
Doesn't matter. I wasn't gonna follow him anyways.
There's some good ones in there.
Yeah, no, I
They
agree.
say
The
some shit
Bible
about
says
not
a lot
murdering.
of the Bible says a lot of really good stuff.
They say some shit about not murdering people, even though God has murdered a shit ton of fucking people.
Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Shall not kill. Shall not covet.
Covet thy neighbor.
Covet. Yep. Remember thy Sabbath. That's kind of cut off there.
Ooh, nobody does that shit anymore.
Thou shalt no other gods before me.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
false
it's like
idols.
false idol. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
Honor thy father and thy mother. Thou shalt not make unto thee any. What the fuck?
Are you reading the King James version?
I don't fucking know.
You know they've rewritten that shit in our language.
You
right?
act like I fucking.
I like the King
know.
James
Oh,
version.
there you
When I
go.
read the Bible, that's what I read.
It's so confusing.
Don't take the names of the Lord.
Lord's name in vain.
Yep. Keep holy and Sabbath day. Honor thy father and mother. Don't kill. Commit adultery. Steal. False witness against your neighbor.
Yeah, it's like don't make shit up to get them fucked over.
Yeah, fuck them though.
Yeah. Oh,
But
some good ones in there.
And we've had multiple podcasts about religion. I don't know, just like the tax money and just just kind of just trying to segue, into something smooth, I guess, whatever, is the fact that like they're able to open up shop. They don't get taxed. I'm sure it's low rent, as minimal as possible.
What, religion?
Yeah.
Like churches and stuff?
Yeah, and they operate at a minimal cost, and people come in, they give them money. And there's documentaries.
That's the thing that people don't
off of
realize is that it literally, like, churches are a business.
That's what it, but
they do good things too,
yeah,
but they're a business.
And same with people who are billionaires, and they give money to charity, blah, blah, blah. Churches are the same way. There are documentaries out there where you see these priests and they're just like in the back counting the money, like, holy fuck, like we just got all this money for, and they're just, people are greedy, so they're going to take advantage of that. And you see all these priests, they're fucking on jets, they have the nicest cars because they preach the word of God, which that's not what it's all about at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are greedy, they're going to abuse the power. That's why it's bullshit, man. It's bullshit.
Yeah, no.
And people suck.
Yeah. So even the word Christian, it simply means to be Christ-like, is all it means.
There ain't no priest that's Christ-like. Man.
Exactly.
Fuck no.
Exactly. Do you think Jesus would be like looking at Joel Osteen going,
"Oh, good job.
Yeah, that guy's really mirroring the life that I lived," which I think is, laughable. But
Very.
yeah, I don't think Jesus would
God,
be.
Ben, every time we do this, and I'm not trying to be dismal and all this shit, man, but humans were just,
Welcome to my world every day."
so then you try and think about it and you go back down to all these holes. It's like, when was the Bible truly written? Because at that time, humans were probably just as greedy as they were now.
Now you're getting it, Paul.
That's what I've always...
It's always been fucked. There was
Yes.
no Mesopotamia, pure land.
It's not the word of God, man. It's not. It's the message of a man. It's the message in words of men and women
Man, I'm
during
telling
that
you,
time. And they duped fucking generations upon generations upon generations. That's the craziest part. The story is so good. It's so good because it deals with life after death, right? That's probably the biggest proponent.
That's what they all.
I watched
go
Passion
off
of the
for.
Christ.
I did too.
Honestly, the story
It's
of
a good movie.
the story of Jesus.
The book it's based off is a little weird, but
If you want to use Jesus as a representation of how you should live your life, I'm fucking all for it, because that guy was great. He never did anything. He was his whole thing was he was willing to sacrifice himself.
But you said he went in gangster style and whooped some ass, bro. Like, come on.
because he was disrespecting. No, he did come in because they were gambling in a holy place, which he was like, "You keep this fucking money out of here. This is supposed to be."
Dude, let's go
this
roll
isn't-
some dice in our local church. I'm down. I'm down.
See,
dude.
but
Let's
people,
do
yeah,
it.
yeah, but no, he did some gangster ass shit too. Like he would stand up for what he thought was right too. The story of Jesus, which by the way, he never said anything about like homosexuality. He never said anything about abortion, anything like that. There's nothing in the Bible that has. Well, he did say suffer the little children. But I think that's I don't know, not to go down that road. But overall, like, Jesus is a great, if you're going to try to mirror your life after somebody and like read his story, and he's about helping other people. You love everyone as though they were yourself. He hung out with the prostitutes. He hung out with the sickly, the blind, just wanted to help them. The common people. He hated the fucking.
Everybody wants a good story, Jesse.
And
everybody wants it.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure he hated the wealthy too. He did not like he was about the common man. Like, Jesus was a great person.
He hated the wealthy,
on
but yet
paper.
he said pay Caesar his taxes.
Because that's necessary.
Come on, man.
you have to have taxes.
You have to keep a society together.
I'm sorry, man. I can't get on board with that. Like, Jesus is this good, great guy, and then he says,
There's nothing.
Pay your taxes.
Taxes aren't. Once again, this is kind of like that internet debate. Taxes are not
inherently evil.
Okay, but he could be more broad and say, "Hey, sales tax is good." Like,
No, it doesn't matter.
They didn't have that
Any
shit
tax
back then.
Any tax isn't a problem. It's what the taxes go to that we don't get to.
For sure. No, I get it, man. But like, even the story of Jesus, what I'm saying is the Bible is the perfect book to dupe people into what is now today. And you see what it's created. This is what it's created. This book that everyone just is supposed to live by and go by. And granted, of course, no one can do it because we're humans. We're inherently greedy, and we're never going to be able to do that. The book is bullshit, man.
Well, okay.
In my opinion.
No, I agree with you too.
Maybe
But
there's
I think
some.
I think there's some good guidelines to follow.
I just don't believe it
make you a
happened
better
at all.
person.
I don't think any of the things that they say that happened in the Bible in those times, I don't think any of it happened.
Jesus was supposed to represent the ultimate form of love, is what that is. Is realistically what he and not just, oh, I just love my family, or oh no, it was this, you love everyone. You care about everyone equally. Like he was like,
don't you do that every day?
He talked about like he was the shepherd and everyone was his flock and he cared about everyone on that level and he was willing to sacrifice his life for other. It was meant to be ultimate sacrifice, ultimate love, like all this. The story of Jesus is actually is a good one, but misrepresented.
Do you believe it's real?
No.
Exactly. It's a story.
It's
make believe.
He's a good, and if he did exist, he was a fantastic philosopher and a great philosophical way to live your life too. With that, but yeah.
But that can be applied to so much. There's amazing Taoists out there and Buddhists and Muslims and everything.
Yeah.
I've read stories of Catholic priests that talked about that they practiced Buddhism and go in because it made them better Christians, is practicing Buddhism and stuff like that.
So now you got people mixing religions and it's fine and it works, but yet
I think what you're talking about, which is absolutely true, the current day American state of Christianity is now become this cash cow. Do you know what the #1 selling genre of music is?
Is it Christian?
Christian rock.
No
Christian
fucking
rock.
way. No
Christian,
way. No
Christian
way.
worship rock.
No way.
Yes. They sell more albums. They do, or maybe country's #1 and then that's #2. But it's fucking up there. Like it is an absolute fucking cash cow because people love the idea of that after they die there's going to be, because that's the big mystery, right? Like what happens after we die. And that's a scary thing for fucking every human being.
Lights out.
They give you an answer for that. And that's appealed to human beings
For
timelessly.
always.
And it will forever be that way.
So I'd be curious to see like the oldest version of the Bible, and I've looked this up before, and I don't know where it's at or where they hold it. It's the old King James or whatever. Is that the oldest Bible, or is it Hebrew?
No, it would have been before King James.
So you have the you have the Old Testament, which is
Right.
just the Torah,
Okay.
which is like Jewish, what the Jewish people live by. They don't have the New Testament. The New Testament is all about Jesus. So you have the Old Testament, which is the Torah from the Jews. And then that's in our Bible. But we also have a whole nother half, which completes, basically, it's completing the prophecy that David had, which is there will be a Savior that comes in. And
Okay, so when was
the whole point? Okay, so the
Messiah.
So were they written at the same time? Or?
No.
Okay, so
no,
then
this,
how was
this is
David's?
written? This
how
is
was
written
it?
by other people. This is written by other people and then pieced together
Oh,
later
fuck
on.
that, man. Fuck that.
And hey, you're about to get even more upset. Do you know that one day a bunch of the head Catholic people all got together because they had all this like biblical information and shit, and it didn't line up at all. So they had to start getting rid of documents to make it work and make it fit. That's why you only have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, because Jesus had 12 disciples, right?
Well, how true is
There's
even
only
that?
4.
How true is that scenario?
But hear me out on this. So the New Testament only has 4 accounts of Jesus Christ from 4 of his disciples. The other 8 did not line up with what these 4. So it made the most sense just to have those 4. And then they put those in a separate, like you can still look those books up from his disciples that wrote about him, but they're considered like heresy. Just simply because the stories just don't match. And they had to have like a continuity thing there.
So they go with 4 instead of 8?
Yeah, because they're the only 4 that line up with each other.
What? That's some
And who are the
bullshit.
You've never heard that?
Who are the people?
You ever think about it? So
who is that?
Jesus had
Mark, John, Paul, and
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are the only. And then, okay, the other person that wrote the New Testament was, so Jesus never wrote anything. It was only accounts of his life from people that he was close with. And then you had a guy named Saul who fucking hated Christians, killed Christians, and apparently had this massive experience. He was on a road, fucking God came to him, fucking blinded him.
Took some shrooms.
Who knows? Fucking blinded his ass. He was like, "Hey, you've been killing Christians, but now you're going to do what I say, and your name's no longer Saul. It's going to be Paul." And then Paul wrote the rest of, well, almost the rest of the New Testament. There was another guy in there too, like Revelations, who was alone on an island and fucking went insane.
So
that's
God's
why
like-
Revelations is fucking crazy.
God's like, dude, you're a serial killer, but I'm going to forgive you, and you're going to be Paul now. So you're no longer.
and you're
a serial-
actually, and you're going to switch positions.
Yeah. Damn, God, dude, he didn't. Ooh.
Fucking
No,
around.
but as far as
Yeah.
the disciples go, and I could be getting this wrong, because there's even a book of like Judah or Judas, which had Judas's account that he wrote as a historian and wrote down, but they don't accept that in the Bible because it doesn't line up.
But you can find Judah's book.
Yeah, I'm
It
pretty
exists.
Sure. Yeah, I'm pretty
Someone
sure you
owns. So there is a book in a historian museum somewhere where his book exists.
So a bunch of people got together like a couple thousand years later and go, man, we need to make sense of all this and put this all together to make it work for people.
Got to make a bestseller.
And that's what they
exactly
did.
what they did.
Got to make
So
a bestseller.
even if these books exist, there's no saying if this was real or not because those people could have all been tripping shrooms or could have
My
all
whole thing
had
is it doesn't. The whole point though is it shouldn't even matter if it's real or not. Going back to something you've said before, but in different words, is I hate the fact that it just like. If you think that you have to be a Christian to be a good person, that says more about you than anything else. Like, why do you have to have
Right.
like the people who are like, oh, well, if you're a Christian, why don't you just go rape and murder and all that? Like, dude, the only thing stopping you from raping and murdering and all this is because you've read the Bible. You're insane. Like, there's something wrong with you. Like, I can be a decent person and not a Christian.
Damn. You're blowing my mind tonight.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to make sense of like these books. You know what I'm saying? And just in how real are they?
And also
and the authenticity of these books.
luck.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
good- I mean,
I know good luck, and you can carbon date the books and go back as far as you want to see it, but we're never going to know the real accounts. What I'm suggesting is that these books could have been written in the 1700s for all we know.
Well, I mean, they were around before that.
But how do we know that? Is what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is just this: what they're doing and how they're controlling people within religion itself is working, and you see how it's working. Then the number 2 or number 1 selling fucking album is country or Christian music. Like it's been working for hundreds, if not thousands.
And
of
the
years.
Bible's the number 1 selling book of all time.
That's what I'm saying, man.
So
That's fucking crazy.
That was the censorship of the day, like Twitter and Facebook.
Sure, why not?
They censored these 8 people and go with these 4 and said, fuck you.
And the Bible blows like the number 2. Like,
out of the water.
It's got number 1 through like 15, and then number 16 is going to be like I don't even know, like Harry Potter, like the Harry Potter series maybe. But the Bible has been the most printed, most sold book in the entire world. Like you can't go to a country without some form of Christianity.
And where's all this money going?
Oh, that was my question earlier. Popped up.
To the people that run it. Do you know how much the Vatican is worth?
Shit.
Do you know how much money is in the fucking Vatican? They have just hoarded fucking shit. And a lot of it like blood shit. Like
And how their temple, they built a new temple and it looks like a snake or something
I
like
saw that. Yeah, the Viper.
Yeah, the Viper.
Oh,
yeah.
that's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, where the crucifixion of Jesus, or it's weird.
There's
It
a
looks
lot of anti.
very Satanism or satanic types of shit in the Vatican.
Yeah, I saw that
It's
too.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, like if you look at one view, it looks like a viper's head. You see the eyes, the fangs, everything, and then like the artistry behind where the Pope
Yes.
stands and speaks is fucking like all satanic and shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
there's
dope.
They're all dude. I mean, it looks cool. Don't get
That's
me wrong.
dope.
It's like this like wooden carved shit.
Basically what you're getting down to, not to go down that road anymore, to come back to what we were initially talking about, is that you have all this information spread out over time. And through hermeneutics and translation after translation, and then you have people coming in, rewriting shit and going, no, this doesn't fit, taking out shit, putting this shit in to fit. Now, this is why you have different versions of Christianity. Like you have, there is no one singular, oh, this is just what everybody
I mean,
believes.
yeah, even down to like sects of like Lutheran and Baptist and
Unbelievable.
Methodist.
Like,
and,
man,
Well, even when you translate,
it
you lose
trails
things
off.
too
Yeah.
because there's not. There may be a word for this over
that's
here, but
the
not the same
hermeneutics
over
he's
here.
talking about.
Oh, okay, sorry, I'm retarded.
And there is just so many different variations of, and also not only the hermeneutics, but just like how you interpret it. So a lot of it's ambiguous to begin with. Like you can take that one way, and then and you can be a good person, and then you end up with fucking Westboro Baptist. That's like protesting, veterans' fucking funerals and shit, but still somehow line up with the Bible through a couple verses, and then they're choosing this
Because the original
to work it
Bible,
out.
the original Bible is written in Hebrew, right?
Yes. So Hebrew and then Greek. So Hebrew is Old Testament, Greek is New Testament.
And the writing that's used in the original Bibles or whatever that they have found, people are still using that type of language today, or the same writing, or
No, so like
Hebrew?
Yeah, Hebrew.
yeah,
Hebrew's
Language evolves.
man, but that's the whole thing. Like if you look at just over 100-year period of like I watched so it was an Irish speaking like writing.
How much
and,
has changed?
and how much they changed just throughout a generation of
saw
even
one on
like
English.
slang. It's just like slang and shit.
But the
like,
letters
changes.
stay the letters stay the same though.
I mean, I don't.
What's that have to do with it? But
I
you're
don't know if
talking
the
like you're
alphabet- I
gonna
don't
you're
know.
talking like you're gonna find some original book.
Yeah.
Man, that doesn't exist anymore. You're
I'm
gonna
just-
find multiple versions from all back then.
I want to find the oldest
That they-
Bible, and I want to see if humans can even read it, and if so, is it
No, good luck.
is
No.
it translatable to today's type of language, or any? Can you match it with anything else that we have within all the different languages that exist?
I think the whole thing though is what Jesse's getting at is the fact that
Man,
it's the Bible.
it's been so
the
stomped
Bible
on.
wasn't written by one person. It's a whole bunch of stories meshed together to make
all
a
those
book.
people spoke the
The
same
ones
language.
the ones
But
they
so
picked,
what I'm
though.
saying is you're not going to find an OG like
I'm gonna put it in a
Bible.
way a lot of people, a lot of our viewers to be able to understand. Like if you go to Colombia, that cocaine is the purest fucking shit. By the time it hits, let's say Grandview, Missouri, that shit's so fucking stepped on. There is barely any remnant of any real cocaine fucking left in that. I mean, you still getting high off that shit. It's not the same shit though. I don't know. I felt like that'd be a funny analogy. I had to, do that.
I get it.
You guys aren't laughing. I could have done it a little bit better. But no, that's basically, you talk about a lot of issues. Like whenever I think this is a big problem, is people just take it at face value because it's such ingrained into our culture. Everybody's like, oh man, the United States was founded on Christianity. You know how many atheist people fucking signed the Declaration of Independence? Like you had, what's his name? Somebody help me out.
Jefferson?
Thomas Jefferson. There you go. He had
Thomas
thank
and
you.
Martha Wayne.
I don't know why I was blanking out on that. I got
Why'd you say
pregnant.
Martha?
I got pregnant brain. No, he literally had written a book on atheism and why religion was bad. So I hate this idea that the country was founded on Christianity. It was actually just like freedom to believe in whatever you wanted to believe in, and a lot of that was they realized how suppressive the church was.
Wasn't it found on
And that
genocide?
was what?
Well, yeah, I mean that too.
Wasn't it found on genocide?
Yeah.
It's its own.
Yeah, but-
it's its own
Poor joke.
version of controlling a population, because you look throughout the world and you see different types of religions and different types of books that were sacred and ancient, and someone found it and they deciphered it, and this is how you're supposed to live. That's throughout the world. With however many separate religions there are, you want to go with the main 3 or the main 4 religions, and what it controls is 7 billion people. That's fucking insane. That's insane.
The part that's ridiculous to me is that just how much it doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying,
Sure,
but it
you can be
does.
scared of your future and what's going to happen after you die. And if you get into that for that reason because it makes you feel safer, fine. But if you're doing it to be a good person, that's such a wash. Because Carl, pretend you're a Christian. Should you like murder me or steal from me or rape someone?
Oh, God, no.
Okay, pretend you're Muslim. Should you do any of those things?
Oh, God, no.
What about atheist? You're an atheist. You don't believe in any religion at all. Should you go out there and murder and rape and steal?
Let me think. No.
Carl's just a teddy fucking bear. That
Yeah,
is so
like just
kind
be a
and-
decent
I don't-
person.
I
It's got
don't
nothing
fuck
to do with
Teddy.
religion.
And we're all born that way is what I'm saying. But what's insane is the fact that, like I said, 4 or 5 religions throughout the world control a population of 7 billion people. That's insane. That talk about the greatest transfer of wealth, which we've had a podcast on, COVID-19. Fuck that. It's called religion, and it happens each and every single year.
I know we've done this.
And
We've
not to
done
mention
it.
the war and all that too.
So Easter always falls on a Sunday. So this might be our 3rd Easter podcast where I've had to bring this up.
Fourth.
But I don't know if we've
Oh,
actually
gotcha,
gone
gotcha.
down like the
Hit
Christian
yeah.
talk. But whenever your kids are going out,
Oh yeah,
and
happy
they're-
Easter, everybody.
Yeah, happy Easter. Whenever they're going out and getting eggs, and for some reason you're like, man, what is Jesus? Because churches do this shit too. That is a very pagan thing. It has to do with the
It's fertility.
the equinox, the fact that spring's coming around, crops are growing. It's a sign of life, like life shit happening. And it's also ironic that Jesus' resurrection happens almost on the same day as just pagans in general celebrate just life rebirth.
It's a lot of pagan and Christian follow or like
there is
follow
There's-
over or whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of
crossover.
lot of ties to
I
it.
couldn't think of the word.
But no, this is pagan like witchcraft, by the way, is what you're following with finding the eggs and shit out there. Even like I come from a very like strict Arminianist Christian household. If you really want to get down to the sect of what it is, I'm sorry, Calvinist. My bad, Calvinist Christian. Which that's a completely separate topic about why it's called that. But no, that's even they're like, yeah, you go out and fucking get the eggs and everything. It's very pagan, very witchcraft based.
that's what
stuff.
Zeitgeist says, and that's the opening of it is how pagan.
Yeah, it's very accurate
figure
too.
of Jesus is,
Yeah, very accurate. Now, I just think, and I hate to say it, man, but it's so ingrained culturally, and it's so American to be Christian that there is no getting rid of it. It's the same way, like, you know, if you're born in the Middle East, like everything, it's a Muslim country,
what I'm saying,
and that's a part of the.
It's all about culture and society and what seems the norm.
No,
it's
not
like
about truth. At all.
People laugh if you be like, I believe in the Egyptian gods. I believe in Ra, and I can't even think of a single other one. What's the
Set?
Okay, yeah,
It was
and
Ra and then Set were the two main ones.
what's the death one? Anubis and all this different. I believe in that, or I believe in the not Viking, but whatever they're called, like the
Nordic
gods,
Greek gods.
Yeah, whatever,
Thor and
Zeus
Odin
and Thor and Odin and all that.
Zeus,
You say
yeah.
you believe in that, and people are like, "That's
Those
dumb."
are the
That's
badass ones. Bring that shit back.
but no,
Right.
people are like,
Fuck, man.
that's dumb. That's
yeah.
that's what do you call it? That's mythical, whatever.
Mythical, yeah.
yeah. It's all that stuff. It's mythos, whatever. Man, there's no difference.
None.
Like, there's no difference.
It's not.
They made stuff up because it explained things. You need to explain lightning because we don't know what it is. So let's have a god for it. You need to help people deal with death. So let's have a god of death and of love and, you know, all
had a
this
good
different
fishing
stuff.
season. We have the fucking-
sun. We don't understand why the sun comes up. It's a god. It's Ra.
Yeah.
And you have the moon, and they're in a constant struggle and blah. You make stuff up because you don't know, and it makes you feel safer. And I hate to say it, there's no difference with. It's the same thing for Christianity.
You're not. Yeah, I agree.
And it's been taken advantage of, obviously. Because
That
I'm not
too.
saying there's
Oh,
anything inherently bad with being a Christian. There's
No,
nothing
same,
wrong with
same.
being a Christian. There is great.
I've said multiple
Christian
times that
morals.
Christianity literally saved my dad's life. Like, and I'm not going to fault him or it for that.
Yeah.
Like,
But I also think that, man, whenever you start putting into government legislation, and then you have to base, all of a sudden everybody needs to live their life based on your religion, which is very fundamental, like Republican level legislation. They always go to the Bible because that's like their powerhouse. And I think
And why wouldn't they? With what we just talked about, why wouldn't
That's how
they?
you sway
revert
so
back
many
to that?
votes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this candidate's not Christian. I'm not going to vote for him. Like he said, if that's the only reason you're not voting for somebody, if that's your only fucking reason.
I remember years ago having that debate with people where I was like, so wait, you're voting based off of things that are going to change with time regardless. You're voting off of like stuff that you think's important to you, like abortion and gun control and gay rights and all these things. And I'm like, you don't actually understand this person's platform at all or what they really represent, because this is just red versus blue here. They're saying what they're going to say,
Which is very
to
religious
support
in
that
itself,
side.
though.
And that stuff, all of those type of things change as we change as people. Like, we become more tolerant and understanding and all this stuff. So then, you know, gays get rights, women get rights, all this stuff starts happening the way that it should happen because we're all equal. Your vote didn't do that.
yeah.
Religion had a grasp on society for a very long time, and it's slowly slipping away.
It's
You're
had the
right.
biggest grasp. Do you know that more like if you had a king who's really like the king rules, but then you have like the Pope. A lot of it's like, man, the Pope back in the day, this not now.
Was top
But
dog.
way back in the day, it was the religious figures.
Church
in
told the king what to
societies,
do.
Yeah, that guided everything. Like it was them that, you know, made everything happen. They were making the war moves and all that.
47.
Nice.
Wow, man, we
Plowing through, man.
that was real quick.
Religion, man, it gets you going.
It does. Man,
people what
my
they
whole thing,
want.
just do some research. Like, there's nothing wrong with being, man, it's the big thing. Like, if you're going to dedicate yourself to a religious belief, can you just actually fucking read into it a little bit is all I ask. Because that's what I
But
did whenever
even-
I was
even-
younger. I started questioning it because there were
Jesse.
some things that felt,
Even if you read into it, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Even if you read into it, we just described throughout this whole podcast how that could have been written by somebody else.
no, but you need to take that journey on yourself. Don't
Sure.
even take what we say for, you know, I'm
Yeah.
not even telling you. Everybody needs to go and do their own research and figure their own.
It's cut and dry. Man. It's
but
cut and
it's
dry.
just-
You see the grasp that religions had on people, and if you tell people that
Sure.
it's okay,
That's how
go
I
and
feel.
do that, then you're going to continuously have the same fucking problem, dude. Religion has been the problem. It's been the problem throughout humanity, or for at least the past 100 or 200 years, that we can actually decipher and see, and we've had physical evidence of seeing how it's affected millions of billions of people. And this is the result of that, for the most part. I know that there's some odds and ends that you really can't push that on religion, but for the most part, you see what religion's done to this society.
What's
And you can't sit there and promote that shit, man. That's insane.
What's crazy is in the Bible, it talks about how God gave man free will, basically talking about being able to sin. He's like, I'm going to let you do whatever you want to do, and then if you want to come to me, you can. But every human being has free will. God gave man free will. I don't understand what is up with Christians taking away free will after God gave man free will. And then now they go, oh, and Christians took it away. That's going to be my quote for the day. God gave man free will. Christians took it away. like on a legislative level. But
man, I never looked at it that way. I don't want to get too dark with this, but even like,
it's very true.
If you're a good Christian and you support free will, you should probably not try to put laws in place stopping abortion, because then you're literally taking free will away from people.
Or even, that's
some deep shit.
You can claim that you're trying to stop murder or whatever else, but you're literally taking people's free will away. Because like you said, he gave us free will. He gave us the ability to sin, and that is up to us as individuals.
So why did Christians have to take it away?
Why are you taking it away?
Because they can, through the word of God.
That was deep, Jesse.
There you go.
It's fun. I love it.
Did I do a good job?
If every Christian went to Chick-fil-A, it's as nice as those motherfuckers, though.
See, this should have been the podcast we had with Cutter Calhoun.
You know what's weird is how nice the motherfuckers are at Culver's.
They are too.
Always super nice.
They are.
Hope they're getting paid well.
Probably not.
I hope they are.
Well, they're like fucking 16. They haven't had a bad day.
No,
in their life.
but you've got 16 years. But they're doing something right at Culver's. I don't know. Maybe it's the pay. Maybe it's something else. I've never had.
That's
like they're
true, yeah.
always
Super nice. Happy to
super
be there.
nice. Everything's good. So hopefully Culver's is treating those people right.
Yeah.
We'll end it on religion, and we got a little bit of...
No, we ended on Culver's.
Which is appropriate. Well, it's appropriate for Easter and everything to have.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't even intend for it to be that way. It just kind of
worked out.
happened.
Yeah,
Fell into it.
God's in my body. Jesus is... Paul, you going to hell, man. My last thing that I'd like to bring up and talk about tonight is just Shanghai, man. You guys seen that shit in Shanghai?
I haven't heard anything.
Dude.
Yeah, it's rough.
What's up
to
with
watch.
Shanghai?
It's
So
rough to
it's
watch.
the
Man.
second or third most populated city in the world, and it's completely been locked down for 2 weeks now.
COVID?
Yeah. Everyone in their house. Everyone. You're not able to leave. You can't leave your apartment, your high rise.
And when they did the first time, too?
It's more intense now.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, people are starting to revolt. There are videos that started coming out today where people are like, there's this dude on his phone. I don't know who he's calling. He's just like, what am I supposed to do? Like
Fight back.
All the grocery stores shut down. People can't get in. You can't buy food. You can't buy water. You're literally just in your house. That's all you can do.
Fight back.
Jesus.
And I'm pretty sure they're trying to a little bit, man. But
you're not going to see those videos. There's there's a couple. They're out there, but there's more disgusting videos than there are people trying to fight back. 25 million people locked down, dude. It's just like I said, the third most populated city in the world, and it's completely
That's
shut
insane.
down.
No, I hadn't heard anything about
and
it.
they're just scooping people up, man.
Yeah, there's
They're
videos.
scooping people up.
There's videos.
I remember months ago whenever I showed you guys the Australian thing, or I don't know if I even actually showed you guys the video. I just talked about it. How they're pitting people in concentration camps in Australia.
If you test positive in Shanghai right now, you go to a concentration camp. And if it's 2-pack, they'll take your kid and they'll leave you behind if you don't have COVID and your kid does. Based on a video that I watched, you have people fighting for their kid not to go to this camp.
We should probably get rid of our guns though.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Gun buyback. That's where it's at, man.
Get rid of your guns.
Yeah.
Do you feel like whenever people listen to the pod, like if they were to just listen to like 3 of our podcasts, they would probably be like, I feel like the majority of people would agree with half of what we say and then absolutely hate us for the other half. I don't know. It's just weird. I feel like we're so middle ground as far as.
That's why we're not popular. And Johnny said it multiple times. We're too middle.
Because we just don't go one side too much because we're all about
freedom.
Trying to
gun
be
rights, smaller
non-biased.
government, Republican style shit. And then at the same time, we're talking about, you need a separation of church and state. And also, gay people should be able to do whatever the fuck they want to do too.
Yes.
All guns should be gay.
I'm literally
Guns should be gay.
Easter dinner, whatever you want to call it, with family. And I'm talking to a family member there. And they're a Trump supporter. I'm just like, Trump's just like the rest. And what do you mean? What do you mean? 2 months in like January, before COVID even started, Trump signed a deal with Moderna for billions of dollars for a vaccine for mRNA technology. And I guess COVID existed at that point, but it wasn't worldwide known, and we weren't shut down and all this shit. But he was already in bed with vaccine companies before COVID, before it even happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I'm never worried about who
they're
our president
all so
is.
fucking corrupt.
I can't do it. Like, dude,
you start splitting hairs of who's less corrupt than fucking this guy? Is it Biden? Is it fucking Trump? They're all garbage, man.
That's all just a distraction from like the real
and they will be,
issues.
And they will be that way up until you actually write in some laws that start holding politicians accountable to
term limits, whatever you want to call it.
But they're the ones who write the laws.
They're the ones writing the laws. They're not going to do it.
Yeah,
the president doesn't do shit.
So then what do you do? We can't talk about
Can't
that.
say it out loud.
Dude, talked to a buddy last night on the phone for 2 hours, and you know him. Really, really good friend. And he's traveling. He was in Alabama. Now he's in Florida. And he's doing shit. And he told me, he's like, man, he's like, when I was in Alabama, he's like, it's 50% white, 50% black. He's like, the way that they interact with each other, you know, it's just like if Willie were still here today and you're sitting there having a conversation with him and you're pushing the line on how far you can go with race type of shit. And he said, that's how it is in Alabama.
I never had problems like that when I was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like, same thing.
Yeah. It's just like people, they're using words that they shouldn't be using type of thing. But that's just how the culture is. But all we see is the media. All we see is Joe Rogan said this, or someone said that, or someone said this. You know what I'm saying? That's all we see. But in real life, what is actually happening is not what's portrayed on the TV.
No, absolutely not. Because like I said, you could look up that one guy that I'm trying to think of who owns the majority of media, like throughout the world. That's coming through one guy for his own benefit. Like media is a joke. Fox News is a joke. CNN's a fucking joke.
All of them.
They're all a fucking joke. They're all a joke. And now everything's so misconstrued. We don't know what's right or wrong, up or fucking down anymore.
Because the propaganda machine has worked, and they've indoctrinated people for such a long time, where they have what Mike Anderson describes as tribalism. Whether that's inherent and it's built into you from birth, I don't know how true that is. They've done studies, and Mike proposed that on the podcast. But I don't think you can account for the amount of propaganda or brainwashing that's put into our society that has that type of effect. And for some reason, it didn't affect us because we're middle ground, or, you know, we're part of that study where, like, we're in the middle where neither side affects us, because we just want the middle. You know what I'm saying? But majority of people, it's either right or left, and it's the most extreme sides. And there's no way around it, man. Because
and it's frustrating,
Well,
too.
I don't believe the majority of people are. I think that the vocal majority, that's a big thing. The stuff that you hear, the stuff,
dude, like
the
I said,
people,
man,
the people who,
no, Johnny,
the
you're
people
wrong.
who
You're
speak
wrong.
up,
You're wrong,
and
dude.
the stuff you see on the news media, that's the
No, people are either fucking hardcore liberal or they're hardcore Republican, hardcore Trump or hardcore Obama.
I disagree.
No,
that's just the people you're hearing from.
No
because
way.
the people in the middle aren't. I'm a person in the middle, right? I'm not going to make political posts on Facebook. I'm not going to be outspoken about it because I'm not on a side. So the people that you're hearing from, once again, the vocal majority or vocal minority or whatever the term is, it's the ones who are talking. That's what you're hearing.
I promise you, we are few and far from between, man. I promise you that. I promise you, people are hardcore right or hardcore left. They pick sides, man. And they are part of the scheme that's been working for a very long time, which involves religion, like we just talked about. It's probably I don't know.
These podcasts always just make me upset.
I know, man, but this one was fucking tight. This one was fun. I love it. It fucking started strong.
What was your last little topic?
That was it.
What
I had Elon Musk, and then I had Shanghai, and then the third one.
Shanghai. That was
my third one. Was just like, why do people like to be ruled by other people? But I don't even really want to get into that. I mean, we kind of hit it up. Honestly, I don't know.
Got you nice and stiff.
Fuck yeah.
And I've said this so many times on the podcast about hierarchies and about how you can do your best to fix it. Eventually, human beings will find a way to corrupt it, and then it'll just go to shit again. And we're just waiting on the next revolution, basically. And there'll be 1,000 if the planet survives and human beings survive. There'll be 100 more like revolutions and resetting of stuff. It's just that's
most likely
cycle that
that's
we're on.
most likely already happened and has continuously happened, and it's just on repeat. Repeat.
Yeah. It's the human condition or whatever.
Maybe it
is what it is.
Yeah, it's just what we are meant to do.
So we're just here in the middle ground. We're in purgatory, just waiting for the next cycle.
Yeah.
Well, we've ushered in AI, and then that might be human beings' purpose in the step of overall evolution of the universe is to just.
And then AI will take red side and blue side, and
they will for sure.
Then AI will have.
Yeah. Chipotle, man, they're testing robots to make chips because of the worker shortage.
I've seen like ads and shit to try to get small businesses to be like, hey, employees aren't working. This made me so fucking mad. This was like literally on YouTube. They're like, employees aren't working. You can't keep employees. They're like, well, our company has automated, all this, talking about it's actually really difficult to get fries just right. But man, we've really mastered this to where it only takes like 2 people to run your restaurant. And I'm like, I was like fucking so livid.
Just pay people better. Just pay people better.
Just pay people, man. Just pay people. But they refuse. Why,
if inflation goes up, if everybody's losing money and everything costs more and all this different stuff, why do you have to make more of a profit than you've ever made? Why? You do not have to make more money this year than you made last year. Every business that's ever existed. You don't have to.
When you're talking about the amount of money.
When you're at that level of money, you don't have to. It's not a requirement. Like,
we'll end it there, man. It's a good podcast. It's a good podcast, man. The best thing you guys can do for this podcast, share this video, man. If this is a video that you're going to share to your friends and family, I think this would be a good one. Send it to your relative who's the most Christian in your family, and I would greatly appreciate that.
It is Easter.
That way they can disown you.
Yeah. Well, I'm not specific. I'm sorry. I wasn't meaning you. That was just coming out of my
in general.
head. I'm sorry.
Man, you talk about some hard-nosed individuals are the religious groups, man.
Yeah.
It's really hard to talk to them. I'm just going to be honest with that.
I'm not opposed to sitting down and talking to a priest or Cutter Calhoun who's been on the podcast, or even an Orthodox priest, and have them on the podcast and listen to what
I'd like to talk to a more hardcore Christian
like
than the one that
argument.
the guy that we talked to was very
Cutter,
was very,
because he knew that's how he had to be.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to someone who's all about it and wants to have a little bit of an argument.
Yeah, no, same. I'm definitely on that.
Look at your satanic guy we talked about.
I know, I forgot about that, and then I remembered at the beginning of the podcast.
I would just refuse to do any kind of argument whether or not God exists. I hate that bullshit. Are you theist or you?
You'll never know.
Yeah.
It is the most
You'll never know.
pointless waste of fucking time ever. Which I am not an atheist. I consider myself a deist. Like I believe that there is some power, God, whatever, higher power, whatever you want to call it, God.
The force.
But there is no religion on earth that represents a direct connection to that at all, if that makes any sense.
I agree 100%.
Which also people are like, man, that's fucking stupid too. So I'm an idiot.
Share this shit,
whatever.
man. Share this shit. Spread Talk Junkies knowledge, whatever. You take our knowledge for what it is, man. But so our junkies out there, I forgot to say, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification to all our junkies out there.
Stay flying. Ring the bell.
I still need to buy a bell.
Ring the bell.
Ring it.
That one went quick.
Yeah, that felt like it went by.